The defective turret.
Hello there, peoples! It's me, the defective turret! What? What are you looking at? Do I have something in my face? Did I forget to shower today? Maybe I'm just not right in the head right now. Alright, before anyone gets in a tizzy, yes, it's still me, the defective turret. I'm just communicating in my DeviantArt form rather than my robot form. I was going to talk like a robot today through Gary's mod, but unfortunately... my computer hates me. So with that out of the way, it's time for another defective review. Once again, guest shows come around. I wasn't able to be a part of October's guest show as I was pretty busy with college. For November, Bob Show gave us the option to review any Video Brain Kiddo movie. If you don't know who they are, well, I don't blame you. From what I heard and saw in some reviews, they're a low-budget film company making really awful rip-offs of films for a younger audience. Stuff like What's Up, Balloon to the Rescue, The Frog Princess, and Gladomorphers, which from what I heard is actually their best work. And the film I chose to review is none other than The Little Panda Fighter, mostly because... mostly because it was one of the very first reviews from Bob's Show that I saw, and I've been subscribed ever since. Before we get down to the meat of this joint, let's take a quick look at the poster promoting this shameless abomination. Looking at it, it's clearly no mystery on what this film is trying to rip off. But seriously, do these people who made this film think it's going to fool parents into thinking it's the real deal?
And that DVD is not even the real film! It's some mockbuster from the bargain bin!
So I'll spare you from those details. For now, let's start this defective review on The Little Panda Fighter. This movie's going to hurt, isn't it? The movie begins with some really unfitting Chinese music until we close in on our protagonist. Ah! Is that our good guy? Because he's certainly rendered badly. Unfortunately, this is our protagonist, Pancata the Panda, who works as a janitor in a fight club run by his boss, Polaris the Polar Bear.
Stop the daydreaming, Pancata. That floor ain't gonna mop itself, you know.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Polaris. I guess they must have drifted off for a second. It won't happen again, sir, I promise. I'll get this floor done in no time.
Why is everybody talking so fast here? It just doesn't make any sense. So our hero isn't really into fighting and actually dreams of being a dancer. I'll let this face sink in for you folks just to witness how horrifying it really is. Wow. Even in his own dreams, he sucks. Soon after, Pancata's crush, Honey, criticizes him about how much he sucks.
If the boss catches you...
Behold the face of nightmare!
Polaris' restaurant isn't getting much revenue and popularity as the restaurant's fighting champion, Teddy Thunders,
who fights off this obvious Care Bear ripoff,
has been winning for 2 years straight.
More nightmare fuel!
This could be the night that anything happens! Talk about your rope-a-dope, ladies and gentlemen! Can this mean victory for Sweet and defeat for Teddy?
And he's down!
I don't believe it. He's killing me, this guy. He wins every time. That's why no one comes to the fights no more. It's a joke. There's no suspense anymore. Everyone knows he's gonna win.
You couldn't at least squeeze a bit more moving animation instead of making him talk repetitively in this static position?
Just like when you were fighting Polaris. No one could beat you either. You were champ for 3 years until you retired and opened this place.
Why does his voice sound so familiar? Nah, I'm sure it's nothing. Polaris wants to get back in the ring to fight again after being retired from a 3-year victory streak, but according to this chump, he signed a contract saying he'll lose the entire restaurant if he fights.
While Honey decides to be a stalker.
Shouldn't you get back to work?
I'm all done. The thing is, Mr. Polaris isn't exactly in the best of moods right now, and I was hoping I could ask to leave early. After all, it is pretty slow in here right now.
Leave early? Why would you need to? It's not like you ever have a date. Who'd go out with you?
How can you love someone who fuels your nightmares? Luckily for you, nobody will go out with this panda. Not because he's cowardly, not because he hates violence, it's just he's filled with nightmare. And don't act like you know any better when you go gaga for a stupid muscly guy, because that's cliché. Also, has anyone else noticed that Polaris is actually right there? Then in the next scene he's in his office? We're only 4 minutes into this film and it's already making me cringe to death. And you know what else is bad enough? Padding. This movie is full of it. Here, watch.
Yeah, Pancata, come on in.
What an exciting journey from one end of the room to the other! Pancata asks if he could go home early, and his boss goes on and on about him being a world-class fighter back in his heyday.
When I inherited this club, I retired from the ring.
Aw, gee, what a crying shame. But I really don't know much about it. That is, boxing, I mean.
Huh? But you must have watched loads of matches while you were working here.
Well, to tell you the truth, I've never been much of a boxing fan. I find it a little too violent. It's just not my thing. I pretend to like it.
So you pretend, huh?
That's right. It's all an act, sir.
That's it! That's it!
What's it, Mr. Polaris?
You just gave me a great idea, kid!
I did not edit that cutaway. It just did that on its own. I know. I'm scared too. After work, Pancata attends his dance class by his master, Master Shin. Hey, Master Shin, can I ask you something? Don't interrupt my meditation or I'll cut you! One thing I want to bring up is, why is he looking like one of those old wise guys you see in Chinese fighting movies? He's a freaking dance teacher! Wait, why am I even questioning this? This movie doesn't make any sense! I didn't edit that cutaway either. I'm freaking out here. His master realizes that Pancata is a little nutty tonight, and he gives him a diagnosis.
Too much confusion can make you seem mentally unstable. I think you are unstable. What's weighing you down?
Wait. Why does his voice sound awfully familiar?
My sinister island lair, you know, the ultra-high-tech stronghold where I hatch my diabolical schemes to eliminate you, it was destroyed in the storm.
Oh God, why? Why, Mike Pollock? Being forced to do a horrible job in bastardized English anime dub was bad enough, but this? In case you're wondering why Mike Pollock, of all people, is in this movie, it's going to be a lot to take in. As I said before, Video Brain Kiddo is notorious for their low-budget films with extremely lackluster animation and nearly bad voice acting. Not to mention that most of the voice actors here are actually from 4Kids Entertainment. And believe it or not, Video Brain Kiddo are actually credited for 4Kids English dub anime in Brazil. That's exactly why this guy here sounds a lot like Dr. Eggman, and this thing sounds exactly like the same voice actress who voiced Meowth in the older Pokemon episodes. Yes, Meowth was voiced by a girl back in the day. She also voiced a horny old man in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, wise old man knowledge on how to get a girl to like you, yada yada yada, I'm skipping this.
You're talking about the value of money, right? That's kind of complicated. I don't earn a whole lot.
No, what's wrong with you? Are you really that stupid?
You just answered my own question, Sensei.
My essence. Oh, he must be talking about my cologne.
Oh, for the love of frog, you are slow, dude! So the next day, Polaris reveals his foolproof plan on getting back in the ring to fight.
Yeah?
Yeah, I present to you the Great Bear of Mystery.
You know, I think maybe you've been working a little too hard, Mr. Polaris.
I'm not Polaris. I am the Great Bear of Mystery. Be very afraid.
Oh, I am! Polaris reveals to Pancata saying he'll fight in the ring wearing the suit so no one will recognize him. Now all he needs is a mask. Which raises a question. What if someone was to have a meeting with him and he's not there? It's just never explained. At all. Pancata comments that something smells, and logically enough, it's the suit itself. So Polaris asks Pancata to wash it for him while he makes plans to get back at Teddy Thunders for making his restaurant redundant and bland as his movie.
Hey, Pancata.
Yes?
This'll just be our little secret.
You got it, sir.
Oh, and kid?
Yep.
Remember how much I'm counting on you now.
Oh, and Pancata? Yes? If you f*** this up, you're fired. After some fast talk with Honey,
Literally.
Pancata begins washing his boss's suit and... goofing off while waiting for laundry. I think I actually put in dish detergent. Goofing off while waiting for laundry. I I can't dance good cause I'm not animated well. Goofing off while waiting for laundry. I don't know how this will add to my life.
Someone down there? What are you up to, Pancata?
Why do you care? Later that day, the paper arrives announcing that the Bear of Mystery or whatever will challenge Teddy Thunders. Wow, news travels very fast in this movie. Even faster than the internet. Wait. Freak Teddy? But he was called Teddy Thunders in this movie.
It's another victory for Teddy Thunders, and that would make his 45th in a row.
So this guy lives off on 2 names? I'm not surprised to be honest. Someone from past history made it in life and he lived on 3 names.
Lucky he's wearing a mask. That way no one will know who he is when he inevitably bites the dust.
That's not a mask. That's mascara.
Boy, I can hardly wait to put on that costume.
But you already put the costume on. Don't you know that? It's right here in the paper. Wait. Why is he already in costume in the newspaper? And how did he get that picture if Pancata has the suit still in the washing machine? Pancata, you screwed it up, didn't you? And you caused a time paradox somehow. And so, the night finally arrives for the match to begin.
The dangerous, fabulous Freak Teddy!
Alright, come on, champ, yeah!
And entering the ring, a brand new challenger, weighing in at 700 pounds. Please welcome the Great Bear of Mystery!
So after the robes are stripped, Polaris' suit starts shrinking. When it actually looks shrunk already! Oh wait, now it decides to shrink! Awesome job, animators! Great job! Let's all get some hot dogs and all that! Honey and everyone else mistakes Polaris as Pancata, when he looks absolutely nothing like Pancata! Weight-wise. Then after a strange and unexpected cutaway, we see Pancata being animated terribly in front of the judges. What? Can't you tell? Pancata's not really dancing. It's actually the animators testing out how to move their models. This is legit. I'm serious. Back to the fight, they decide to pad this up before they remember they actually are going to fight. Why? Because I don't know and I shouldn't care. And when the fight finally begins, Teddy doesn't give a crap until Polaris gives one first. This part of the movie seems to alternate between Pancata and Polaris as they continue on with their goals, but it just comes and goes without warning. There's no notion if we're going to the next scene as we're focusing on one moment, and without warning, we're just tossed away into a new plot point. Anyway, after we see more poor testing animation of our hero, we go back to our other hero who's now taking the spotlight, and these two beefheads decide to trash talk each other.
I hope you have your insurance policy paid up, because I'm about to make mass mincemeat out of you. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Thunderchump, because your time is up.
Oh my goodness, if only I'd known what a licking this Teddy Chump was gonna get, I'd have put all my money on Pancata.
Those two aren't actually fighting. They're frozen. Meanwhile, back at Pancata's dance rehearsal... Look at them! All the judges look like they don't even care! They don't even react to Pancata screwing up! They didn't even turn around! This movie sucks. Awkward cut back to the fight later.
Oh, I don't believe it. I just bought those fixtures last week.
Then you shouldn't have kicked him there, dummy. Also, I'm pretty sure everyone could have heard you say that. Regardless, Polaris defeats Teddy nearly flawless. 10 out of 10.
Folks, tonight we have witnessed one for the ages. A real shocker, my friends. The Great Bear of Mystery has delivered the knockout punch heard around the world.
Your execution...
Wait, hold up. We just witnessed this guy beating up this beefhead. Can't we just live a little before we get back to this monstrosity? So a few of the judges love Pancata's test animation while other judges aren't too keen on it. Which means he's not going to Las Vegas this year, folks. After this moping scene, which confuses us on whether the tone is happy or sad, Pancata is being complimented for his best moves, when everyone he met seemed to think it was him who was fighting. He, however, takes it thinking they saw his dancing skills, which probably doesn't make sense since there's no one else but the judges and not Mike Pollock, and finally gets the respect he wants from Honey, while she still treats him like a punching bag.
Well, I gotta get to work. I'll see you later, honey.
You sure will, little cuddle bear.
That sounds very suggestive!
Woo woo! Oh.
Tell me I'm not the only one who's getting wrong ideas with her noises. Oh, and then there's this chick. Don't know who she is or where she came from. Don't know, don't give 2 cents. Afterwards, Polaris apparently has a laughing attack after finally understanding the whole kerfuffle of what Pancata was originally thinking.
Yeah, and my audition piece was awesome. I mean, isn't that what everyone's talking about?
You mean? You thought I was really talking about... I thought I was going crazy. Sorry, kid.
Would you please stop laughing and get on with the plot already? Anyway, after that long and confusing conversation, Polaris breaks the news that everyone thought it was Pancata in the fight, when it was really him with the shrinking clothes incident. Really driving that point of logic there, are ya, you bear?
You see, that costume you wore shrunk so bad, I didn't look like a polar bear, I looked like a panda.
And let me guess, everybody thought it was me up there, right?
You nailed it on the head, kid.
And here I thought they were all excited about my dancing.
No one except the judges were there, you stupid panda. Pancata wants to come clean and admit that it was all a misunderstanding to the public and Nightmare Lady. But Polaris actually wants to keep it going despite Pancata's objections. And then we make a new cutaway to his dancing routines. Because it's plot movement. Shut up.
Just a wild guess, but does the stress come directly from that lady friend you spoke to me about a while ago?
No. Maybe a little. Well, she's part of it anyway. I guess the good news is that she finally noticed me.
I'm happy to hear you followed the tips I gave you regarding love. But I must admit my surprise. I didn't really think it would work at all.
Aren't you supposed to be the wise one in this movie? Anyway, Pancata admits to Jin that the only reason everyone, including Honey, respects him is that they all thought it was him fighting in the ring. Jin then tells him that if he wants to continue this reputation, he must become a fighter and battle it out in the ring himself, which he reminds us he's a pacifist for the 100th time or so.
The truth will set. Perhaps we'll find the true answer through meditation.
Nearly almost half an hour into this thing and it's still not drawing me in. I will admit I went into watching this film with an open mind because animation itself is no walk in the park, especially when working in 3D technology. If only the animators at least took the time to perfect their work to make it at least a passable experience, then maybe this movie could have been watchable at least, even though it would probably still flop. And from what I heard, the only good ripoff Kung Fu Panda that actually has some kind of effort will have to be a movie called Chopkick Panda. I haven't fully watched the whole thing yet, but I will say it's worth watching more than this. Back on subject, Polaris tells his faithful employee that Teddy What's-His-Name is demanding a rematch and Pancata wants to fight him on his own. Even when being persuaded not to fight, Pancata admits he will reveal the truth unless he takes the chance for himself.
Mr. Polaris, I am prepared to blow the whistle to everybody, including the papers. Unless you unconditionally allow me to go into the ring against Teddy Thunders. One way, fairly and squarely.
And he'll probably lose as well. News goes out that Pancata and What's-His-Freaky Thunder will duke it out as we read some Spanish text that I cannot understand for the life of me.
I always thought he was something special.
No, you didn't. Soon after, Polaris takes Pancata to Gary's mod and decides to give him proper training to defend himself in time for the match. Pay attention to this because it's more confusing than it sounds. This whole montage of Pancata doing a test run animation, learning to fight from his boss, having trouble with a punching bag, catching up with his dance routines,
performing one of the only funniest things I've seen throughout this entire movie,
goes on for exactly 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm not joking here. And I know, nearly almost 3 minutes may not seem like a bad thing, but using that to pad out your montage doesn't really make your film look as encouraging as it wants to be for people who wasted their money thinking it was the real thing. And the problem with this montage is the logic itself. It gives us ideas that there's a fighting event every night at the bar, so why aren't they just focusing all their efforts on just one whole day when Teddy Thunders or whoever he is could have been waiting in the ring for all those nights while Pancata was at his dance class? Couldn't the plot at least give us a little notion onto when their rematch could take place on? No, of course not! Because the writers of this movie obviously didn't bother to read over their work instead of, I don't know, maybe putting some more effort into the story to make it more plausible? Jin congratulates Pancata on his efforts, but Pancata still seems to be filled with doubt on if he's going to survive against Teddy or not.
Remember, if you fight like you dance, you can never go wrong.
Write this down, everyone. This is going to be on the test. Stop with the sudden cutaways, jeez! Anyway, the night of the match finally comes, somehow.
And in this corner, we have the current reigning and undisputed national heavyweight champ himself, weighing in at, hey, kid, you're not on one of those shake diets, are ya?
He'll be shaking tonight.
That was a good one.
Sorry, I had to. And I actually found it hilarious that the ringleader obviously isn't fond of Teddy's threats.
Honey, I knew the turnout would be good for this fight, but you should see how many bets I took.
I've never seen so many customers here. I've already made a week's worth of tips.
But there's no one here to watch the match.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Pancata the fighter's a gold mine.
Remember this, folks. So the fight begins, and Pancata, being the lovable idiot, gets his furry butt handed to him. This is almost the exact representation of someone who studied so hard for a test and instantly freezes up on the first question. I should feel pity for this panda. But I don't.
Where's the passion? Where's the panache? Where's the Pancata we know and love?
He's thrown his self-esteem out the window, it seems, much like the effort went into this movie.
Can't say I didn't see this coming. Always knew that kid was a loser. Always knew that kid was a loser. You sure been holding out on us, kid. You're a gold mine. From now on, buddy, I'm betting on Pancata.
No comment. Pancata then remembers his master's advice as he drifts off into an endless sky.
Remember, if you fight like you dance, you can never go wrong.
Pancata does his thing in the next round, and he loses? Okay, remember from my first defective review on Cool Cat Saves the Kids when I said it was cliche for a main character in a little kid movie or show to always win? Yeah, I guess it's not the case for this one, isn't it? I guess Video Brain Kiddo wanted to step it up a notch, showing kids that your dreams will get you nowhere. The next day, Pancata wallows in defeat in front of Polaris while he revels in his victory. Why? Well, it turns out Polaris knew from the start that Teddy What's-His-Name would beat the crap out of Pancata, so he placed all his bets on him.
Of course, knowing Teddy Thunders, I knew that would be impossible. So that's why I placed all my bets on Teddy.
So that means you're
rich! In fact, I'm about the richest man in the whole city.
Meanwhile, this chump, who I absolutely don't care for his name, finally starts putting the pieces together. Nearly 44 minutes into this thing! It's also revealed that Polaris only gave encouragement to Pancata to motivate him, which obviously shows that he knew from the start that Pancata was going to lose and only cheered him on just to make him feel like a winner, when really he's not. Thus making him the main hero of this story! Wait, if he just placed his bets on Teddy now, why couldn't he have done it from the very beginning of this movie since he knew from the start that Teddy was unbeatable? I think I know why. Because he's the main character of this movie! Afterwards, What's-His-Name finally figures out the truth and attempts to confront Polaris. Only it's Pancata in his seat, but...
You listen here, Polaris. You can't fool me. That's the same cheap costume you wore when you broke the contract and entered the ring. And I'm not the only one who knows about your fraud.
Remember when I said he pieced it all together? Now he just spread them across the room. Why? Because he can't tell the difference between a polar bear and a freaking
nightmare panda!
Pancata reveals that his boss left to retire and left the restaurant in his hands, where he announces new changes coming. What makes me question this scene is, how did Polaris leave the room and the town so quickly? It's just, as I said before, never explained. At all. We then awkwardly cut to Polaris making his way downtown with his swag, and then we go back to the restaurant where Pancata converted it to a dance club. And for some reason, Honey still likes him despite the fact that everyone saw he was a total blunder. And the movie finally closes with
more nightmare fuel
as the character lives happily ever after, following his dreams, losing in that crucial plot point and learning absolutely nothing that contributes to the plot. So that was the little panda fighter. What more do I have to say? Likewise, it's quite obvious that little to no effort went into this. The animation is garbage. The editing itself is just as bad. The music is unfitting. The voice acting is bland and boring, and to top it all off, they could have done a much better job rewriting the story and made the animation and models more polished. Yes, it would still be called a ripoff, but it would have been better if they put more effort into their work. I would dare say this movie is worse than Food Fight, but to be honest, I think with the little panda fighter, you could do much worse.
Really worse.
All I can say is, this movie's bad, and the voice actors from 4Kids Entertainment being involved doesn't make it any better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. This is the Defective Turret, Frog, Coronian guy, signing off.
Peter, don't. They say if you watch that video, you die.
Ah, that's a lot of baloney.